Hey guys, it's Ben. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's good to be here with you today. Today, I want to talk about relativism. Relativism. This is a topic that comes up every once in a while. You don't hear the word relativism a whole lot in conversation, but you will hear its slogans from time to time. At the outset, I want to go ahead and tell you about two good resources that you can go to on the topic of relativism if you're interested in going deeper in what we're going to be talking about in this episode. The first one is Paul Copan's book, True for You, but Not for Me. It's a really good read. He has a chapter in here about relativism. It takes you less than 10 minutes to read. Super easy. A larger book is William Lane Craig and J.P. Moreland's Philosophical Foundations for a Christian Worldview. You can see this book is huge. It only has a small portion devoted to relativism, but it's in a much larger chapter on theories of truth and epistemology. So if you're looking for a heavier read, more academic, go to Philosophical Foundations by Craig and Moreland, and you're going to love that. So what is relativism? Relativism is a theory of truth that says a claim is true relative to the beliefs or valuations of an individual or group that accepts it. In other words, truth claims are dependent upon the person, not so much the actual world that we live in. So truth claims are relative. That's why it's called relativism, relative to the person making the claim. Sometimes you hear this in statements like in Paul Copan's book, that's true for you, but not for me. Or another statement that you might hear relativism expressed is, I have my truth, and that's your truth. Maybe you've heard that before, or you've seen it on a show on TV or something like that. That would be relativism. So what are problems with relativism? Why would we find a problem with that and want to reject it? Well, the first thing that we can say about relativism is it's self-refuting. That means that this point of view commits ideological suicide. Okay? Relativism just can't be true. Why is that? Why is that? Because if we say that all truth is relative, meaning that all truth is dependent upon the person, then that claim itself is a claim of universality. In other words, if relativism is true, it's true for everyone, everywhere, at all times, or it's not. Do you get what I'm saying? And so if we say the statement that all truth is relative, then is that statement that all truth is relative or not? And so you see how if relativism is true, then it's false. And if it's false, then there are objective truths that are binding. And again, relativism is false. And so relativism by itself cannot be a good, logical system of truth. The second problem would be that no one can really live out relativism in this world. What do I mean by that? I mean that no one says, well, it's only true for you that it's a bad idea to cross a busy highway. Do you get what I'm saying? It isn't just a personal taste there. It is talking about reality. If someone says, well, it's only true for you that if you stand under an anvil that's falling, you're going to be hurt. Or it's only true for you that if you drink bottles of poison, then it's going to be bad for you. Do you get what I'm saying? Relativism just can't really be lived out consistently because it bumps into the real world. Some people may say that, well, what we're using is called Western logic, and that's just not the way it is for the rest of the world. But what Craig and J.P. Moreland say in Philosophical Foundations that this is actually not the case. What the person who says that is confusing is the way in which an argument may be cashed out. What do I mean by that? I mean that some people may like a syllogistic form of argumentation where you have premise one, premise two, which leads to the conclusion, and that itself may be found more in Western civilizations, but in other civilizations, you may find truth claims expressed in a poem or a song or a another written form that's not as structured as what we would see in syllogisms. However, that doesn't mean that the underlying logic is any different. They may use a different style to convey a argument or a truth claim, but the logic, the foundation, the groundwork is still very much there. And so it's not as if we have a Western logic and an Eastern logic, and these two are just clashing into one another. No, the whole world shares the same logical thinking. It just may not be conveyed in the same manner. And so the question that we could ask is, well, what is a good theory of truth? Well, what it has been for a long, long time, the correspondence theory of truth. The correspondence theory of truth just simply says that truth is whatever conforms to reality. Truth is not something that we create in ourselves, like maybe relativism might say, but truth is something that we discover in the world. That's the big difference. Truth is always grounded in the actual world. Whenever things are as they are, and we discover that. And so I hope that helps you today deal with relativism. So anytime you hear someone say, there are no absolutes, think, is that an absolute statement? Whenever you hear someone say, all truth is relative, ask, is that statement itself relative? And if it is, then how can it be true and binding on anyone else? Whenever you have someone say, well, I have my truth and you have your truth, ask them, what do you mean by that? If they're talking about preferences, like vanilla ice cream is my favorite versus chocolate ice cream is yours, that's fine. That's preferences. If they're talking about the nature of reality, then that's something you need to ask. What do you mean by that? And can we talk about that a little bit more? So I hope that helps you today. I hope it blesses you. And yeah, it's always a good thing to have a good handle on what is truth. I'll see you next time.